Welcome back to B Master 79. This is IELTS Speaking Parts 2 and 3, Topic 62. Describe a shop or store you enjoy visiting. We will plan it, then hear a full Band 9 model long turn, then all 4 Part 3 answers. One thing before we start, every time. Band 9 here means our own assessment against the public IELTS band descriptors. It is not a certified examiner score. The speaker is an invented persona called Trang. The shop, the city, the friend, all of it is written for the lesson. Copy the technique. Do not copy the story. Here is the cue card exactly as it was given to us, word for word, including the punctuation. Read it while I stay quiet for a moment. Four things worth noticing about this particular card before you answer it. Part 2. The examiner gives you the card, 1 minute to prepare, and a pencil and paper. You then speak for between 1 and 2 minutes. The examiner will stop you at 2 minutes. Being stopped is normal. Stopping yourself at 40 seconds is not. Here is the 1 minute of notes. Notice these are fragments, not sentences. If you write sentences, you will read them aloud, and reading aloud sounds nothing like speaking. And here is the shape those notes turn into. Rough timings on the left so you can feel where you should be. Now the full long turn in Trang's voice. The text is on screen so you can read along. Listen for where she slows down and where she hedges.
I'd like to talk about a bookshop called The Bookworm, which I've been going to for about 3 years now. It's tucked away on a quiet lane in the old quarter of Hanoi, about 15 minutes from my flat. From the outside, it's easy to miss, just a narrow yellow door and a hand-painted sign, but once you're inside, it opens up into 3 floors of shelves, with a little cafe on the top floor that looks out over the rooftops. I try to get there at least a couple of times a month, usually on a Sunday morning when it's still fairly empty, if I'm being honest. I sometimes go every weekend when I'm in the middle of a good series, and I've been known to spend an entire afternoon there without buying anything at all. As for why I like it so much, there are really 3 reasons. The first is the selection. They stock a lot of second-hand English titles that you simply can't find in the big chain stores. So there's always an element of treasure hunting. The second is the atmosphere. The staff never hover over you or pressure you into buying. They just let you browse at your own pace. And there's usually some quiet jazz playing in the background. It's one of the few places in the city where I can properly switch off. And the third reason, which is probably the most important, is that it's become a bit of a ritual for me. I associate it with slowing down at the end of a busy week. My best friend and I often meet there, grab a coffee upstairs, and end up talking for hours about what we've been reading. So it's not really just a shop, it's somewhere I go to recharge. And I think that's why I keep going back.
Those numbers are measured from the audio you just heard, not estimated. So what made that answer work? 6 things. And the language worth stealing. Meanings on the right, because a phrase you cannot use precisely is a phrase that will cost you marks. Part 3. The examiner now leaves your personal story behind and asks about society. Answers get shorter, roughly 30 to 60 seconds, but the thinking gets harder. Here are all 4 questions from the card. Question 1. Do people in your country go to the shopping mall frequently?
Yes, very much so, particularly in the big cities. I'd say malls have become the default weekend destination for a lot of families, partly because of the weather. The summers here are brutally hot and humid, so an air-conditioned mall is genuinely appealing. But I think the bigger reason is that they're no longer just about shopping. A typical mall now has a cinema, a food court, a supermarket, and a play area for children, all under one roof, so you can spend an entire day there without ever going outside. Older people in rural areas are far less likely to go, though they still relied on their local markets.
Question 2. How have people's shopping habits changed in recent decades?
Enormously. The biggest shift by far has been the move online. 20 or 30 years ago, my parents would do all their shopping in person at the wet market, more or less daily, because there was no other option. Now almost everything arrives at the door: groceries, clothes, electronics, often within a couple of hours. Alongside that, people have become much more price conscious and much better informed. They'll compare prices across 3 apps and read the reviews before committing to anything. And payment has changed completely as well. Cash was king when I was a child, and now I can go a whole week without touching a banknote.
Question 3. Do you think shops and shopping malls will disappear in the future?
I doubt they'll disappear altogether, but I do think they'll have to change quite dramatically. Purely transactional shops, the ones where you just go in, pick something off a shelf and pay, are the most vulnerable, because online is simply cheaper and more convenient. What I think will survive is anything that offers an experience you can't get on a screen: trying on clothes, tasting food, or just meeting friends somewhere pleasant. Some malls may well shrink in number, but the ones that remain will probably lean much more heavily towards entertainment and dining than towards retail.
Question 4. What are the differences between shopping in street markets and big shopping malls?
They are almost opposites, really. Street markets are chaotic and personal. You haggle over a price, you get to know the vendor, and the produce is usually fresher and cheaper because there's no middleman. But its unpredictable quality varies. There are no refunds, and you're at the mercy of the weather. Malls are the reverse. Everything is fixed price, standardized and comfortable, and you can return things without an argument. What you lose is the character and the human contact. Personally, I use both: market for food, malls for anything I'd want a warranty on.
6 habits that keep Part 3 answers at the top of the band. Everything worth writing down in one place. Pause the video here. That is topic 62. If this helped, subscribe for the rest of the speaking series and tell me in the comments which shop you would describe. Practice it out loud twice before you close this video. Thank you for watching. Be Master 79.